Hello people, today I'm going to be doing a showcase of every single stud tower defense unit, and along the way I'll be making an accurate tier list, but keep in mind that it's still my opinion, so it can change. Now let's not waste any time and get straight into the video. To start our tier list off, we are first going to be looking at the Grappler. The Grappler is a common unit that costs $10 to place down and has base stats of 0.5 damage, 0.3 stun, and 1.5 speed. This makes Grappler the best stun unit in the game, so if you're having trouble completing a wave, you can use Grappler to slow down the bosses for you. These stats alone at base show that Grappler is the best stun unit in the game. Grappler also at max level does a 1 second stun with a 4.5 speed. If you don't think he's good, honestly, you might need to rethink your opinions. For those reasons alone, I'm going to be putting Grappler in A tier. The next unit I'll be talking about is going to be Archer. Now, Archer is not the best when looking at straight stats. Archer has base stats of 5 damage, 12 range, and a 0.6 speed. And even when you get her up to level 5, it does not really benefit much. Her damage changing from a 5 to a 12, range from 12 to a 20, and speed from a 0.6 to a 1.3. And for these reasons, that's why Archer will be going in D tier. And the last common, the best common, Gunner. When you look at Gunner as a single unit, he's not the best, but he is still pretty good. He's got a 4 damage on base, 10 range, and a 1.5 speed, which honestly is perfect. But what makes him even better is that his level 5 stats jump up to a 8 speed, the fastest speed in the game. There is no one attacking faster than a Gunner on level 5. And for that reason, I will be putting Gunner at S tier. Now moving on to the uncommons, I'm going to be starting with Pyromancer. Pyromancer is the only full AoE DPS to my knowledge, but he's not the best. His base stats come in at 2 damage, 7 range, and a 0.4 speed. And his level 5 stats aren't any better with him having a 19 range, 9 damage, and a 1 speed. Pyromancer has a lot of potential, but his stats right now aren't doing it, so that is why he will be put into D tier. But he is better than Archer, so he will be above Archer. Next for the uncommons is Ballista. Ballista, in my opinion, Ballista is too expensive to be a high tier. He costs $85 and his base stats come in at 35 damage, 12 range, and 0.15 speed, as well as 2 Purus. I can't really find anything to say that's good about Ballista, but there's not much bad with him besides his cost, so I will be putting him at B tier. The last unit for uncommons is Trapper. Trapper is a pretty cheap unit, but I don't see much use in him. A lot of people do use him just in case if there's any runners that slip by because of range, or for just to have the killing blow on some enemies. Me personally, I've never used Trapper, and I won't use Trapper. So for that, I will be putting Trapper in C tier because, in all, he's not a good unit. He's below average at best. Next, we have Greatsword, and Greatsword was one of the best units pre-nerf, and I don't think there was a debate among that. But now, obviously post-nerf, he's not the best, but he still is a good character. His stats come in at 8 damage, a 0.3 speed, and a 0.05 stun. And he also is a multi-hit unit, so he is attacking multiple enemies every time he swings his Greatsword. At max, he's doing 15 damage, 0.6 speed, and a 0.1 stun. So this makes him a pretty good unit, but then again, he's not above average, nor is he on the level that Gunner is. So for those reasons, I will be putting him in B tier. Next, I will be reviewing the rare units. The next unit is the Grenadier. The Grenadier, I don't fucking know, let's just talk about him. The Grenadier, or however you want to pronounce his name, he is a really expensive unit coming in at $70, and I do not think it is worth the price. Yes, he does do AoE splash, but his speed is at 0.5, his range is a 9, and only 3.5 damage for every grenade. And even at max, it doesn't get much better. Even at level 5, he doesn't get any better, only doing a 11.5 damage, 18 range, and a 0.85 speed. He will be going into D tier, but he will be above Pyromancer. The next unit we have is Rain Dancer. Rain Dancer is a support unit that slows down everyone in his range. His base stats start him off with... my fucking god. His base stats start him off with a damage of 0 and a range of 4, but his level 5 stats give you 1 damage and 11 range. There's nothing really bad to say about Rain Dancer. He's a normal support that does his job pretty well, so for that, he will be going in A tier, but he will be behind Grappler, as Grappler's just way better. The next unit we will be looking at is Boxer. Now, Boxer's a pretty cheap unit, coming in at only $20 to place down, but he sucks. And that's just the truth. Boxer does 2 damage with a 0.5 speed, but what I think the devs try to do to make Boxer not as shit is give him a 3-punch combo that the last hit stuns and deals double damage, but that would be good if he just wasn't so shit in his base stats. His base stats come in at 2 damage with a 0.5 speed. his level 5 stats not being that much better, his damage only getting upped by 4, and his speed changing from a 0.5 to a 1.7. For that, because Boxer sucks, I will be putting him in D tier, although he is above Archer, because Archer's just like the worst unit in the game. The next unit we will be talking about is Butcher. Butcher is a money farming unit that gets you cash every time he attacks. His base stats aren't horrible. He's giving you 2 cash for every attack, but also doing 2 damage every attack. His speed is unknown, but we know it's not fast, because he is pretty slow. If you do spam Butcher, say like 2 of them, you might be able to get some value there, but I wouldn't bring him on my runs. Next, we'll be talking about the epic units. First epic unit we're going to be talking about is Knife Dealer. Knife Dealer comes in at $80 to place down. He is expensive as fuck. His base stats give you a damage boost of 1 and a range of 4.5. And you did hear that right, he gives them 1 damage. Not a multiplier, but literally 1 damage. And his level 5 stats give you a damage boost of 2.75 and a range of 9. Boxer would be a meta support if he did give a multiplier, but because he doesn't, he will be landing up in C tier, as he is a decent support to bring on some runs, but the fact that he's not a multiplier really takes away from his buff. The next epic unit we will be talking about is Necromancer. Necromancer is a 75 cost unit. Necromancer is a 75 cost unit that has the ability to summon killed enemies and turn them into allies. Necromancer is not a bad unit when you're putting him in Endless. If you take him out of Endless, I don't think he's doing well. His base stats come in at 5 damage, a 0.5 speed, and a summon HP of 50%. So if they had 10 HP, you would be bringing back a 5 HP. The reason why I say he would be really good for Endless is because he's bringing back an enemy with 150% of their HP. And we all know that Endless scales crazy. So if you have him there to bring back a enemy with crazy HP, then he will prove to be a really good asset. But in normal runs, he is not doing the best. He's not that good to bring on normal runs, as he doesn't do much damage to finish off a kill by himself and has to rely on other units. So for all these reasons, he will be going in C tier, behind Trapper, but above Knife Dealer. The next unit we'll be talking about is Shopkeeper. Shopkeeper is the best farm unit in the game, and one of 2 farm units, besides Butcher. He costs the same to place down as Butcher, but he will get you more money in the long run. Shopkeeper also comes with a nice passive ability that he will give you a card every 5 waves. Shopkeeper at his level 1 stats will bring you $35 cash, at level 2 he'll bring you $75, at level 3 $150, level 4 $200, and level 5 $300 every single wave. So, Shopkeeper is a pretty good unit to have around, but he is not the best. So, I will be putting Shopkeeper at the top of B tier, above Greatsword, Butcher, and Ballista. Now, Magmamancer is a pretty good unit for early game. You do not want to be using him for endgame, as his damage is not good at all, but early game, he is one of the best starters, besides the Goat Gunner. He spawns in with 1.75 damage, 9 range, and a 3-second cooldown. So every time he attacks, he takes 3 seconds to recharge. But at level 5, that cooldown goes from 3 seconds to 1. And his damage increases from 1.75 to 4, and his range goes from 9 to 13. In all, he's a really good starter, and can help take out many enemies at once. So, for that reason, I will be putting him in A tier, behind Rain Dancer. Next, we will be moving on to the legendary units. The first legendary unit we have is A Bad Dream. Now, A Bad Dream costs $50 to place down, and what he does is he revives you and rewinds to a previous wave. So, for example, let's say if you died on wave 20, he would revive you and it would be back to wave 19. But you can increase how far he rewinds your wave. So at level 5, he will rewind you 5 waves. Even though A Bad Dream is a legendary, you would think that he's doing more, but revives are only useful if you're really struggling on a wave, and there are better people that can help you past that, like Grappler or Rain Dancer. They can help support to slow down the enemies so you have more time to kill them. A Bad Dream is not good at all, in my opinion. A Bad Dream is not good at all. You will never see me bringing him on a run, and because of that, he is in D tier, between Pyromancer and Boxer. Alright, the next unit we'll be looking at is Zeus. Zeus costs $85 to place down, but it is worth it. Zeus does 10 damage on placement, he has a 9 range and a 0.4 speed. On his card, it also says count 1, which may confuse some people, but that count is how many lightning strikes he throws. And those lightning strikes actually stun the unit. And those lightning strikes actually do some stun, although the number is unlisted, but it is a pretty decent amount. At his level 5, he gets you 100 damage with 17 range, a 1 speed, and 5 counts of his lightning strikes. And that is it for the legendary category. Now we will be moving on to the final category, the celestial units. First off, for the celestial units, we have Echo. Echo is the best support in the game. The reason I say this is because Echo will clone any unit in his range, and as he upgrades, his clones will also upgrade. So let's say you had 10 gunners all in Echo's range. There will be 10 gunners, the ones that you first place, and then 10 gunners on top of that because they're Echo's clones. And all of Echo's clones upgrade with him, so if Echo's level 3, then the clones will be level 3. This helps make units cheaper and is why I think Echo's the best support unit in the game. He will be put in S tier, although he is behind Gunner, because Gunner's just better. Next for the celestial units and the final unit in the game is Viper. Viper costs $75 to place down, and he attacks with percentage damage and poison. This percentage damage is based off of how much total HP the enemy has, and not their current HP. Because Echo infinitely scales with his enemies, he is the best unit in Endless. Him and Necromancer are the only people you should be bringing for Endless, along with Echo for a support if you have. Viper's poison damage is also pretty much like Burn, where it leaves an effect on the enemy and takes away HP constantly for a certain amount of time. Because Viper's doing percentage damage, that means that in normal runs he's not the best person to be bringing because he's not consistent. But in normal runs, if you do need a boss killer, Viper will always be there, and he is the best boss killer in the game. But because Viper is mainly used in Endless and not that good in normal runs, he will be put at the top of B tier. So now, to review this tier list, we have, in S tier, Gunner, then Echo, Gunner, then Echo. In A tier, Grappler, Zeus, then Rain In A tier, Grappler, Zeus, Rain Dancer, and Magmamancer. In B tier, Viper, Shopkeeper, Greatsword, Butcher, and Ballista. In C tier, Trapper, Necromancer, Knife Dealer. And in D tier, finally, Grenader, Pyromancer, A-Bad Dream, Grenader, Pyromancer, A-Bad Dream, Boxer, and Archer. And that concludes this video. If you liked it, please consider subscribing, or just leave a comment because it's greatly appreciated. Anyways, bye, I guess.